Here's something that has been on my nerve for quite a long time. As you know, people have mainly referred to as Nintendo is a company that makes baby consoles. But, well, I've never really agreed with them. And nowadays we have PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. But you see, I understand that PlayStation and Xbox are usually more popular to an older demographic, and Nintendo does seem to target a younger demographic, but they aren't like entirely targeted at. Now, back in the day, you see, there weren't as many people trying to be number one in the game industry. I mean, like in the 80s and depending the 90s, we were talking about, because there was Sega Genesis, except that that technically sold out the Super Nintendo. And looking back at it now, I'm not trying to break anyone's opinion, but the Super Nintendo is just better. Back in the day, you could debate about it, but looking back at it now, you can pretty much agree that it's better, just due to the controller and game selection. That's the main two things. Now, I will eventually do a video on that, but back in the day, that was like the major thing. And keep in mind, Nintendo hasn't been number one in the game industry since the Nintendo Wii, and that was the 2000s. I mean, like, Nintendo Switch is already out by now. But if they were alive back in the day, they wouldn't really find Nintendo as dated. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I telling you all this? Well, we're going to be talking about something today that can be found as dated. Today we're going to talk about a Super Nintendo game known as MarioPaint. Okay, well, first of all, it didn't use a Super Nintendo controller. It used a Super Nintendo mouse. Now, it had two buttons. The connection input would be the same. Nintendo didn't want the idea to be drawing with the D-pad and, have your control buttons as the normal thing, but overall, yeah, I think they made a smart decision. Using a Super Nintendo mouse, people have actually done some pretty cool things on it. But drawing's not the only thing that you could do in this game. Well, there's a fly swatter game, which is actually pretty cool. You tap the flies and you gotta swat them. You can increase the amount of difficulty, and you gotta hit 100. But then there are other things like the composer. Now, the composer is where you can make your own song. Basically, you put it down in any sort of direction you want to, and they're all represented on keynotes, and Mario will step them over time. Now, you couldn't do like sound overlap or anything, and well, honestly, it's pretty good, especially considering what you can do. And I mean, like, some of the freestyle stuff is actually pretty good too. There's a lot of things that are unnecessary, like different ways you can erase the page. Now, to be honest, overall, they're unnecessary. It's a bit dated, like I said earlier in the presentation, due to what other software we had at the time. But it was innovative. It offered a lot of creative fun and endless possibilities of things that you can do. Well, oh well. You noticed that there are 2 reviews this week, mainly because these were 2 shorter ones, and putting the 2 of them together filled up the full time frame that one normal review will. But anyway, today we're signing off.